This segment is brought to you by Express Employment, your locally owned and operated staffing company, respecting people, impacting business.
You're watching Durango TV News. I'm Ashley Dixon. Improving water quality on the Animas River between Silverton and Baker's Bridge has been the focus of the Animas River Stakeholders Group for more than 20 years. Last week, we caught up with efforts to clean up Silverton area mines that continue to drain zinc, cadmium, copper, and other poisonous metals into the watershed and eventually into the Animas River. For the past 30 years, area residents, mining companies, and government agencies have debated whether a federal Superfund designation or continued local efforts would be more effective at cleaning up the area's mines. The Animas River Stakeholders Group formed with the belief that grassroots effort can be as effective, if not more effective, than federal intervention. And as we explained last week, the group has been quite effective by cleaning up more than 60 mines in the area. But Peter Butler, coordinator for the Stakeholders Group, says the coalition has its limits. One of the biggest disadvantages is long-term liability. That issue came to the forefront when the water began pouring from the Red and Bonita, the Gold King, and the Mogul mines following construction of a giant concrete plug in the Sunnyside Mines American Tunnel. Before the American Tunnel was plugged, it issued more than 1,700 gallons of polluted water a minute. Sunnyside ran a water treatment plant that reduces the metals discharged into the Animas. But the water treatment system was an expensive long-term solution. After the American Tunnel was plugged, Sunnyside closed its water treatment plant. But then water backed up into the complex network of fissures in the mountain and began pouring out of the 3 mines located west of the tunnel. Now more than 300 gallons of polluted water drain from the mines, and water quality in the Animas has been degraded ever since then. Butler said the new discharges pose a dilemma, one that the Stakeholders Group continues to face. Who would be willing to clean up mines, especially long abandoned mines on private land, if they were going to be held liable for the results from now until perpetuity? The Stakeholders Group, along with Trout Unlimited, has asked Colorado's congressional representatives to pass a Good Samaritan law to protect third-party organizations like the Animas Stakeholders Group. And earlier this month, the La Plata County Commissioners added their support to the bill.
The Good Samaritan bill would provide a kind of a permit, essentially, for a third party that had nothing to do with a mine site, didn't create the mess, one of these abandoned mine sites, to be able to come in and do some kind of treatment and do some kind of good, but be able to walk away without getting liability for it.
Because no third party has been willing to take on the cleanup of the Red and Bonita, Gold King, and Mogul mines, the Environmental Protection Agency has stepped in to plug the mines. The $1.5 million project began this month. While the Animas Stakeholder Group pushes for a Good Samaritan law to maintain local control over mining mitigation activities in the region, the EPA continues to explore Superfund designation for the Silverton area. Which course of action will be more effective? It's hard to say.
The other potential issue with a Superfund site is that once you become a Superfund site, you're pretty well locked into it. There isn't another path to try to get funding in some other way. You know, you're in Superfund, you're in it for good until the site's been cleaned up.
Durango TV News will continue to follow this complex issue as it unfolds. In the meantime, you can keep up with developments through the Stakeholders website at animasstakeholdersgroup.org.
This segment is brought to you by Express Employment, your locally owned and operated staffing company, respecting people, impacting business.